They told me they couldn't come to my wedding because money was tight, so I paid for everything: flights, hotel, even meals. And then 3 weeks before the big day, my mom asked me to cancel my honeymoon so they could borrow my savings. I did. And 2 months later, I found cruise tickets in their kitchen drawer, full itinerary, paid in full, their names, my siblings, even my sister's new husband. Everyone but me. I stood there in their kitchen, holding those tickets, and for the first time in my 43 years, I understood exactly where I stood in my family. Not at the bottom of their priority list. I wasn't even on it. If you're watching this from anywhere in the world, Phoenix, Detroit, Dallas, wherever you are, tell me in the comments if you've ever felt invisible in your own family. Because that day, holding those cruise tickets, I realized I'd been invisible my whole life. Now, let me tell you what happened the day everything fell apart. Michael and I had been planning our wedding for 18 months. Nothing extravagant. We're both in our 40s, both on our second marriages. We just wanted something simple and beautiful at a vineyard in Napa Valley. 100 guests, good wine, dancing under string lights. The kind of wedding where love mattered more than the flower arrangements. When I called my parents in Ohio to tell them the date, my dad's first words were, "California? Jesus, Sarah, that's expensive." "We'll help with the costs," I said immediately. It was a reflex. Really, I'd been smoothing things over for them my whole life. "It's not just the money," my mom chimed in on speakerphone. "Your father's back has been acting up. Flying is hard on him. I'll book you first-class seats," I heard myself saying. "More legroom." There was a pause. Then my mom said, "What about Jenny and David, my younger siblings? They'll want to come too." "Of course. I'll cover everyone." Another pause. "Jenny's husband will feel left out if he doesn't come. And the kids?" By the end of that phone call, I'd agreed to pay for 7 plane tickets, 3 hotel rooms for 4 nights, and all their meals. Michael found me crying in our bedroom afterward. "Why are you doing this to yourself?" he asked, holding me. "Because they're my parents. Because I want them there. Because maybe just once, if I make it easy enough, they'll actually show up for me." He didn't say anything, but I felt his arms tighten around me. Michael knew my history with them. He'd watched me drive 6 hours each way to help my mom recover from knee surgery, only to find out later she'd had my sister staying with her the whole time. He'd seen me loan my brother $5,000 for his emergency that turned out to be a boat down payment. He'd held me through 20 years of forgotten birthdays and last-minute cancellations. "This is different," I told him. "It's my wedding." 3 weeks before the wedding, everything was set. The vineyard was decorated, the caterer confirmed, our friends from all over were flying in. I'd even gotten my mom and sister appointments at the spa the day before, thinking we'd have one of those mother-daughter moments you see in movies. Then my mom called. "Honey, I need to talk to you about something." Her voice had that careful tone she used when she was about to ask for money. "Your father and I have run into a situation." "What kind of situation?" "The property taxes came due, and with the car repair last month, we're just in a bind. I hate to ask, but could you help us out? Just a loan. We'll pay you back after your dad's pension check comes through." "How much?" "8,000. I closed my eyes. "Mom, the wedding is in 3 weeks." "I know, sweetie. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't urgent. They're threatening foreclosure." "Foreclosure?" The magic word. The one that always worked on me. "I don't have 8,000 just sitting around," I said. "Everything's tied up in the wedding." "What about your honeymoon fund? You could postpone the trip, couldn't you? I mean, you'll have your whole lives together. What's a few more months?" I thought about the 2 weeks in Italy we'd planned, the little villa in Tuscany, the cooking class in Rome. Michael had been saving for 3 years to give me this trip. "Please, Sarah, we could lose the house." So I did it. I canceled the honeymoon. The villa kept half our deposit, but I got back $9,000. I sent 8 to my parents and kept one to cover the cancellation fees. I didn't tell Michael about. I lied and said the villa had a plumbing issue and would refund us fully later. My mom cried with relief on the phone. "You're such a good daughter. We'll be at that wedding, honey. Front row, I promise." The morning of my wedding, I kept checking my phone. Their flight had landed the night before, but they hadn't responded to my texts about the rehearsal dinner. My sister Jenny hadn't answered either. Neither had my brother David. "They're probably tired from the flight," Michael said, fixing his tie. "They'll be here." I'd reserved the entire front row on my side. 7 seats with white ribbons and roses. My family. The music started. I stood at the back of the aisle in my grandmother's pearl necklace, the one thing she'd left specifically to me, and looked at those empty seats, every single one of them empty. My cousin Rita was in the second row, and when we made eye contact, she quickly looked away. That should have been my first clue. I walked down that aisle alone. My dad was supposed to walk with me, smiling like my heart wasn't breaking with every step. Michael's face saved me. The way he looked at me, like I was his whole world, got me through those 40 feet of humiliation. We said our vows, we kissed. We were married, and not one person from my immediate family was there to see it. During the reception, my phone buzzed. A text from my dad, sorry we couldn't make it. Flight got canceled. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Like you get multiple first weddings. Like this was a barbecue they'd catch next summer. My cousin Rita had too much wine at the reception and pulled me aside. Sarah, I need to tell you something. Not now, Rita. They were never planning to come. I stared at her. What? Jenny told me weeks ago. Said they had other plans but didn't want to hurt your feelings by saying no. Other plans? Rita looked miserable. I shouldn't have said anything, but she'd said just enough. 2 months after my wedding, my mom called crying, really crying, not the manipulative tears I'd learned to recognize. My dad had been diagnosed with diabetes and needed expensive medication. Could I come home and help them figure out insurance? So I drove 6 hours to Ohio, still hurt, but unable to ignore my mother's tears. That's who I was, the daughter who always showed up even when they didn't. Their house looked the same as always. Too much furniture, too many knickknacks, the kitchen table covered in mail. My mom hugged me like nothing had happened, like they hadn't missed the most important day of my life. I'll make coffee, she said, leaving me alone in the kitchen. That's when I saw them. The cruise tickets, right there in the pile of mail. Royal Caribbean, 7-day Eastern Caribbean cruise. I picked them up with shaking hands. Departure date, the day before my wedding. Return date, 3 days after. I read the names on the booking. Robert and Linda, my parents, Jennifer and Marcus, and their kids, Aiden and Emma, David and his girlfriend, Tanya. 7 tickets. The exact number I'd paid for to bring them to my wedding. But the dates were what broke me. This wasn't some last-minute emergency. This was booked 4 months ago, 2 months before I'd even told them my wedding date. No, that wasn't right. I looked closer at the booking details. The cruise was booked 4 months ago, but the dates were changed 6 weeks ago, 3 days after I'd sent them the money for their property taxes. The change fee was $800, the exact amount they'd asked me to add for some bills on top of the original $8,000. I stood there doing the math in my head. The cruise for 7 people would have cost at least $8,000. Maybe more. My legs gave out. I sat on their kitchen floor, holding those tickets, finally understanding everything. My mom found me there 10 minutes later. Sarah? Honey? What's wrong? Are you sick? I held up the tickets. You used my honeymoon money for this. Her face went through so many expressions. Surprise, guilt, defiance before settling on defensive. The dates, Mom. You changed the dates to my wedding weekend. After I sent you the money, it was a non-refundable booking. We'd lose everything if we didn't go. You could have told me. You would have been upset. I'm upset now. My dad walked in then, saw the tickets in my hand, and sighed. Linda, I told you to throw those away. Throw them away? I stood up. Like you threw away my wedding? Don't be dramatic, he said. It was just a party. Just a party. My wedding was just a party. I canceled my honeymoon for you. I've been paying for things my whole life. David's rehab, Jenny's divorce lawyer, your surgeries, your cars, your everything. And the one time, I asked you to show up for me, you took my money and went on vacation without me. We've had a hard year, my mom said. We deserved something nice. What about what I deserved? You have Michael now. You don't need us anymore. There it was. The truth she'd never meant to say out loud. You're right, I said. I don't. I walked out of their house and drove 6 hours home in silence. Michael was waiting for me with tea and tissues, like he knew I'd need both. They didn't call for 3 weeks. Then my mom showed up at my door, crying. Not calling ahead was her power move. She knew I worked from home. She knew Michael would be at his office. She knew I'd be alone and vulnerable to her tears. But I wasn't the same daughter who'd left their house 3 weeks ago. Sarah, please. Your father's medication is so expensive. We need help. I looked at this woman who'd given birth to me, raised me, and somehow never actually seen me. Did you enjoy the cruise? What? The cruise. The one you took during my wedding. Did you have fun? Her tears stopped so fast it was almost funny. Why are you being cruel? I'm being cruel? I laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Mom, do you know what it's like to explain to 100 people why your entire family couldn't make it to your wedding? Do you know what it's like to be the bride with no one on her side of the aisle? We had commitments. You had my money. $8,000 that I gave you for an emergency that didn't exist. You could have told me the truth. You could have asked if it was okay. You could have chosen literally any other week. But you didn't. You deliberately chose my wedding weekend. The dates lined up better. Stop lying to me. I'd never raised my voice to her before. Never. Just stop. For once in your life, admit what you did. She stood there on my porch, this woman I'd spent 43 years trying to make love me, and said, "We didn't think you'd actually go through with it." What? The wedding. You'd been married before. Failed. We thought this was just another one of your phases. Another one of my phases. Like my first marriage ending when my ex cheated wasn't failure enough. Like finding love again was something to be ashamed of. Get off my porch. Sarah, I said, get off my porch. And don't come back. You don't mean that. I do. I'm done. Whatever you need, whatever crisis comes up, whatever emergency happens, I'm done. Ask Jenny. Ask David. Ask the family that was worth missing my wedding for. She tried tears again. How can you be so heartless? I learned from the best. A week later, my cousin Rita called. Sarah, I need to tell you something else. Rita, I can't handle any more revelations right now. No, you need to hear this. It's about your grandmother's will. My grandmother had died 5 years ago, left everything to my parents to distribute. What about it? She didn't just leave you that pearl necklace. She left you money, $50,000, specifically for you. The world tilted. What? My mom let it slip during the cruise. Rita paused. Oh God, you didn't know about the cruise either, did you? I found out. Sarah, your parents told everyone you couldn't afford to have them at the wedding, that you'd spent all your money on the venue and couldn't help with their travel. I sat down hard. They said what? That's why no one reached out to you? We all thought you'd chosen a fancy wedding over having family there. Rita, I paid for everything. Their flights, hotels, everything. I know that now. But Sarah, about the inheritance, where's the money? According to my mom, your parents used it for Jenny's house down payment and David's rehab. They said you were doing well enough on your own and didn't need it. $50,000. My grandmother had left me $50,000 and they'd stolen it. Given it to my siblings who'd been invited on the cruise I'd paid for. Do you have proof? My mom has a copy of the will. She was a witness. Send it to me. The will arrived by email an hour later. Clear as day. To my granddaughter Sarah, who has always been overlooked but never forgotten, I leave the sum of $50,000 to be used for her happiness alone. Never forgotten. My grandmother had seen it. She'd tried to help me even after death, and they'd stolen that too. I sat down that night and wrote 3 letters. The first was to my parents. I know about Grandma's money. I know about the lies you told everyone about my wedding. I know about all of it. I could sue you. The will is clear, and I have witnesses. But I won't. Instead, I'm giving you what you've always wanted, a life without me in it. Don't contact me again. Don't show up at my door. Don't call when you need money. Don't expect me at holidays. You made your choice when you took that cruise. Now live with it. The second was to my siblings. I hope the house and the rehab were worth it. I hope you enjoyed the cruise that my honeymoon money paid for. I hope you know that when Mom and Dad need help, and they will, it's your turn. I'm done. The third was to my extended family, with Rita's permission to share what she'd told me. This is the truth about my wedding, and why my parents weren't there. I laid it all out. The money, the lies, the inheritance, everything, with receipts. Screenshots of the bank transfers, the cruise booking, the will. Then I hit send on all 3. My phone exploded within hours. 47 missed calls from my mom, 32 from my dad, messages from Jenny calling me a bitter liar, David saying I was tearing the family apart, aunts and uncles expressing shock, taking sides, demanding proof. I turned off my phone and went to dinner with Michael. How do you feel? He asked. Free, I said. And for the first time in my life, I meant it. My mom showed up again 2 days later, this time with my father. "We'll sue you for defamation," my dad threatened through my Ring doorbell. "Go ahead," I said through the speaker. "Discovery will be fun, especially when they subpoena your bank records and find my money paying for that cruise." They left. Jenny called from a blocked number. "You've ruined everything. Mom and Dad are getting divorced. Everyone's taking sides. Are you happy now?" "I didn't ruin anything," I said. "I just stopped paying for it." "You're not even going to help with Dad's medication?" "Ask Marcus." "Oh wait, you can't. He left you when he found out about the money you stole from me, didn't he?" She hung up. The family explosion continued for weeks. My parents did separate briefly. Apparently, my dad hadn't known about the inheritance theft. He'd thought the money came from my mom's sister, but they got back together within a month, united in their anger at me for exposing them. David went back to drinking. Jenny's husband did leave her, though, not just because of the money. Turned out she'd been lying about a lot of things. The extended family mostly sided with me, especially after Rita's mom confirmed the will's contents. But here's the thing. I didn't care anymore. 6 months after my wedding, Michael surprised me. "Pack a bag," he said on a Thursday morning. "Why?" "Just trust me." He drove me to the airport, handed me a ticket to Rome. "Michael, we can't afford. I've been saving since the day you canceled our honeymoon." My parents helped. Your cousin Rita contributed. Even some of your coworkers pitched in when they heard what happened. People who actually love you wanted you to have this. I cried the entire flight to Rome. Good tears, finally. We spent 2 weeks in Italy. The villa in Tuscany was even better than the original booking. We took that cooking class. We drank wine on terraces and made love in the afternoon and didn't check our phones once. On our last night, sitting at a restaurant overlooking the Colosseum, Michael raised his glass. "To your grandmother," he said, "who saw you even when no one else did." "To Grandma," I agreed. "And to you," he continued, "for finally seeing yourself." We clinked glasses, and I felt her there with us. My grandmother, who'd tried to protect me even after death, who'd known what I needed before I did. A year after my wedding, my father had a heart attack. A real one this time. David called from the hospital. "He's asking for you." "No. Sarah, he could die. Then he'll die knowing exactly where we stand." "How can you be so cold?" "It's not cold, David. It's honest. If he wanted me there, he should have come to my wedding. That was a mistake." "No. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. Deliberately booking a cruise during my wedding with money I gave you for a fake emergency. That's a choice. And choices have consequences. What if he dies?" "Then he dies. And Mom will have you and Jenny to comfort her. The children she actually wanted. You're going to regret this." "The only thing I regret is waiting 43 years to stop begging for scraps of their love." He hung up. My father survived. He's still alive today, 3 years later. I know because Rita tells me occasionally. They're struggling financially. Jenny's divorce was expensive. David's drinking got him fired. The house needs repairs they can't afford. Sometimes I think about sending money. It would be so easy to fall back into that pattern, to be the good daughter again, the one who fixes everything. But then I remember standing at my wedding looking at those empty chairs. I remember my dad's text. "Maybe next time." There won't be a next time. People ask me if I regret cutting them off, if I miss them, if I forgive them. The truth is complicated. I miss the parents. I thought I had, the ones I invented in my head to survive my childhood, the ones who were just having a hard time, who would love me if I was good enough, helpful enough, successful enough. But those parents never existed. The real ones, the ones who stole my inheritance, who took my honeymoon money, who missed my wedding for a cruise, those parents I don't miss at all. Forgiveness is harder. I've forgiven them for my sake, not theirs. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means I don't carry the anger every day anymore. I set it down when I sent those letters. I left it in their driveway the last time I drove away. What I've learned is that love shouldn't require you to shrink. It shouldn't cost you everything. It shouldn't leave you standing alone on the biggest day of your life, wondering what you did wrong. Real love shows up, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's expensive, even when there's a cruise to take instead. Michael's family has taught me that. They flew from Seattle to California for our wedding. His 78-year-old mother with her bad hip. His brother, who had to take unpaid leave from work. His sister, who gets violently airsick. They all came. They all danced. They all cried happy tears. That's what family does. Last month, I got a message from an unknown number, a photo of my parents, looking older, grayer, smaller somehow, standing in front of their house with a for sale sign. The message said, "They're moving to a nursing home. Thought you should know." I deleted it. Later that night, I told Michael about it. He asked if I wanted to help them. With what money? I laughed. The 50,000 they stole? The 8,000 from our honeymoon? The 20 years of loans that were never repaid? With forgiveness, he said. I already gave them that, from a distance. That's all they get. He held me while I cried. Not for them, but for the little girl I used to be who just wanted her parents to love her, who would have done anything, paid anything, been anything they needed. That little girl deserved better. And the woman I am now? She knows that some prices are too high to pay, that some people will take everything you give and still say it's not enough. That family isn't about blood, it's about who shows up. My real family was at my wedding. Michael, his family, my true friends, the people who celebrated with me even when my own parents couldn't be bothered. If you're watching this from anywhere, Miami, Denver, Boston, wherever you are, and you've ever felt invisible in your own family, I want you to know something. You're not invisible. You're not too much. Or not enough. You're not the problem. Sometimes the people who should love us most are incapable of it. Not because we're unlovable, but because they're broken in ways we can't fix. And that's not our fault. It never was. The day I found those cruise tickets was the day everything fell apart. But it was also the day everything finally made sense. The day I stopped trying to earn love that should have been free. The day I chose myself. My parents are in a nursing home now, from what I hear. Jenny and David visit sometimes, but not often. The money's gone. The house is gone. The cruise is just a memory they probably don't even talk about. But my wedding? My wedding was beautiful. Not because of who wasn't there, but because of who was. Because I married a man who sees me, who chose me, who shows up for me every single day. And because, for the first time in my life, I showed up for myself too. That's my story. The one I couldn't tell for years because I was too ashamed, too hurt, too well trained in keeping family secrets. But secrets only have power in the dark. And I'm done living in the dark. I'm done pretending that crumbs are a feast, that absence is love, that maybe next time is enough. There is no next time. There's only now. And now, I choose peace. I choose truth. I choose the family that chooses me back. That's not revenge. That's not bitterness. That's freedom. And it only cost me everything I thought I needed to realize I already had everything I deserved.